Okay, I think we're live now. So I'll probably just wait for like maybe 2 3 minutes for more people to join. We have like,
Oh, okay. So when they join, will they join here or they will join?
no. So they are seeing it on YouTube. We're the only ones on this platform. It's like Zoom in a way.
Okay, that's fine.
Wait, is something echoing on your end?
No.
No. Okay. There's something echoing here.
I'm muting myself now, so just see if you can still hear.
Okay, sorry. I was the one that was watching the YouTube somewhere. Okay, so this is my first time on live, so I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, sorry. All right, so I think maybe we can start, maybe, and then people would join. Okay, so all right. Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining this live today. Um, so today's video is going to be very interesting. We have a guest in our midst. So the reason why I thought about doing this was I've seen a couple of people that have reached out to me about applying for scholarships, and some of them or most of them don't know how to write applications that would win a scholarship, right? And I thought, I'm like, okay, we have someone that's won, a top government scholarship. Like that's actually quite amazing. So why not just invite him to let us know what did he do, which magic did you use, like how did you land this top government scholarship? It's very very competitive actually. So to have won it is actually very amazing. So the idea is just to hear what Samuel did and just to kind of help people that don't understand how to apply for scholarships basically know what to do. It might not be the same scholarship he applied for, but any scholarship at all. I feel like the things he will say would help every single person. All right. So without wasting so much time, I'm going to introduce Samuel, and then I'm going to start to ask him some questions. So Samuel Ogunsola is passionate about building platforms that drive global impact in health, research, leadership, and innovation. He is currently pursuing a PhD in physiology and pathophysiology at the Max Rayleigh College of Medicine at the University of Manitoba in Canada. His research explores the effects of genetic variation on alternative splicing events in human genetic diseases, contributing to advancement in personalized medicine. Now, beyond academia, Samuel founded the Food and Genes Initiative, an organization dedicated to promoting health awareness and well-being. He also co-founded Shaping African Women in STEM, which is a platform that leverages storytelling to empower and celebrate young African women in STEM fields. Additionally, he established Impact Leaders Connect in 2021, a community that fosters learning, growth, and networking among young leaders. Now, throughout his career, Samuel has worked with organizations such as Vitract, Impact Investors Foundation, Handy Health, Design Consulting, and AgroLearn, holding diverse roles in research and development, project coordination, sales and marketing, operations, and business development. Now, his work has been recognized through prestigious awards and fellowships, including the 2023 Vanier Scholarship, the New England Bioland's Passion in Science Mentorship and Advocacy Award, one Young World Ambassador, UNICEF Generation Unlimited Fellow, AstraZeneca Young Health Program Scholar, and Nigeria 75 Fellow. So that's awesome. He also he has also mentored at the Hult Prize and served as an Unleash Accelerator Fellow and DataView Research Fellow. Now, Samuel has had the privilege of sharing his insights on research, advocacy, innovation, and leadership at various forums, including the RNA 2021 conference, the RNA Therapeutics, the World Economic Forum, the Waste Management Conference in Lagos, Nigeria, the Young Einstein Summit, and the Newcomer Coalition in Toronto, Canada. In his downtime, Samuel enjoys playing Scrabble, reading, and cheering for Chelsea Football Club. So all of this is amazing. So you can imagine why he's our guest on this live today. So all right, without wasting time, I'm going to just go straight to the questions I have for Samuel, and then at the end of the live, we would just have a session where we have like a Q&A, a question and answer. So the people on live can ask Samuel some questions. If you have any questions, you can ask him, right? So, all right. So now, before I go further, the scholarship that Samuel applied for is the Canada Vanier Graduate Scholarship. So if you have time, you can go read up on scholarship to understand more about it. Basically, it's a very competitive scholarship. It is valued at 50,000 Canadian dollars per year over 3 years. That's 150,000 Canadian dollars over 3 years. So that's very good, right? So my first question to Samuel is that now your initial decision, like what made you decide? So what made you decide to apply for the Vanier scholarship? Now, was it something you've always aimed for, or did the opportunity present itself at a particular moment in your academic career?
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation, Patience. I really appreciate. And sorry, I did not know the bio is that long. I will shorten it. Well, thank you very much for the invitation. I appreciate, and for the amazing work you're doing through the channel. Thank you for being, providing important information to help um, people to be able to, for instance, travel to Canada or access information that are not easy to access. Thank you very much. And I'm very um, grateful for this platform to share about my journey and also how God helped me to secure the scholarship. So, uh, I've heard about the Vanier scholarship, and anytime I hear people talk about the scholarship, they always tell me it's very hard to apply for, or I did not get it, or I was about to start the application, but then I gave up. So, um, at first I did not even think of applying. I don't even know about I've never put my mind in it since I started my program. But then just as you said in the question, the opportunity came up. And then I just went through the, what they require to win. And I was like, I think I can give this a try. I think this is something I can aim for. It was not an easy decision because I could remember that even around that period I was applying for the scholarship, I got a rejection from another scholarship I applied for, a scholarship within Manitoba here. So it was not something I already had in my plan to do, unlike some people that have taken years to build up, everything they need. So I just saw the application and I feel like it's something I can go for. And then I just believe that it's something worth giving a try, right? At most, what will happen is me not winning it. And it's not bad too because I get to learn, you know, about something, and also I'm happy that I was able to at least give it a try. So yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, so the next question I have is for the preparation strategy. So basically, how you prepared. Now, the Vani is a pretty competitive scholarship, right? We know that. So, how did you prepare for the application? Now, did you follow a specific strategy or timeline to get everything done?
Yes, I did. And I'll say anytime you want to apply for any scholarship, whether Vanier or any fellowship you want to apply for, the first thing is to understand what the fellowship is all about. Sit down and do your research. For instance, go on their website. What do they want? What are the requirements? Do I have them? So once you can tick all the box that okay, I have all the requirements, then the next thing is to look at what do I need to get. And when applying for scholarships or fellowship, you have to know that there are some things you have to do yourself, and there are some things that you need other people to do for you. So, for instance, you are going to need someone that can write reference letter for you. For Vanier scholarship, we you need four referees. So, writing the essay is something I can do myself. I can decide not to sleep for 7 days to write an essay, but my professor that will write the reference letter for me might need 3 or 4 weeks to write that because of his busy schedule. So I had to create a timeline knowing that I have to reach out to these people. And based on research, to apply for a quality scholarship like VAN, it takes like 2 to 3 months to prepare the application. So the first step I took was doing that research. Then the next step I did was to reach out to a mentor. From what I heard, everyone that has won a Vanium was there's someone that mentored the person because there's a way to write the essay, there's a way to prepare the application. It's not a general scholarship. It's just like grant writing in academia. There's a way to write grant that that will get funded. So you need to know how to write. There's a technique. So I reached out to a mentor and I was able to get one, a guy that won a Vanier last year. So I reached out to him and he was able to show me the ways. And after that, the next step, I won't lie to you. After I reached out to my mentor for a whole 1 month. I couldn't write a single thing because I had to also fight, this syndrome of I don't think I can do this. I don't think I deserve to win this. I think this is scholarship that is meant for people that have 20 publications that already has a company somewhere. So I battled that for a whole 1 month. But then one day, being a Christian, I prayed about it and then I was strengthened spiritually and then I took up the move. And from there, I started writing. And then the other thing I did was to reach out to some of my friends as accountability partner. So anytime I write an essay, I share it with them to help me read. So because I have accountability partner, I wanted to, keep on sharing this thing with them. And before I knew it, for like a month, I was able to draft all the essays and then reach out to all my reference, get all the reference letters together. And then the scholarship has different processes. So every school has to submit some like a set number of students to be able to go to the national competition. So and also each department has different rules. From some department here at the University of Manitoba, you have to pass through the department first. So if you're currently a student that have not gained admission, it might be harder for you because you need to be in the department to apply. So within the department, you submit an application. The department will pick, okay, we are going to pick two people that will go and represent us. This from even the faculty. So from department to faculty level, then the faculty will pick like two people. Then from the faculty to the school. So my own department, I first went through the department, then the department submitted, and then I went to the school. So you have to compete at the school level. So the school is going to pick only five, I think five people for CIHR, that's the health research. For shock, that's social science, they're also going to pick like 5 or 4, I don't know the number. And for the science and engineering, to maybe like 5 students. So you have to compete at the school level, and after that, they will now submit to the national. So at the national, that's where you now compete with students from all universities. And at this point, it's no longer about um whether you have the best application or not within your school. At this point now, you're competing with a student from McGill, from Toronto. So all the students are competing together, and I think about 200 applications are submitted, and then they will pick the top 56. And those 56 are the ones that are funded based on your leadership, your academia, and also your research abilities. But for me, I think it's just a mix of everything. I've been interested in leadership for a while, right from my undergraduate studies. So I've been doing a lot of leadership things, not because I wanted to apply for Vanier. Most people I've met that got the Vanier, they were just serving, right? They're just doing things they love to do, right? And that's just it, right? You don't have to be cooking up something because you want to win the scholarship. It's just who you are, and that will reflect in your application. They will know. You can't just say that, oh, within a year you volunteer like 30 places. They know that you really did that because of the scholarship. They want to see a story that, oh, right from 10 years ago, I've been doing something until now I'm still doing it. So that's what they want to see. And I believe I answered the questions. I will also share go into more details about each applications and how I was able to come up with them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that detailed explanation. That really helps.
Thank you.
Then the next question I have is about your research. So, how did you go about presenting your research in a way that stood out? What key aspects of your work did you highlight to make a strong case?
Okay, thank you. So that's an interesting question. So for the Vanier scholarship, there are different types of scholarship. They will ask you for your research proposal. So for Vanier, as I said, it's three categories: leadership, academia, and research. So each of these category, there's a score of 9. So you have to score like maximum of 9 in each category. So for you to win the scholarship, you have to have high marks in the three. So for instance, in leadership, now I think my score was around maybe 7. In research, I had the lowest mark. While in academics, I think I had above 7 too. So they now add the three together and then divide by three. So that's what they used to rank the top 56 students they will give the scholarship to. So if you're someone that you're very good academically, you're very smart, you have A's, but you don't engage in leadership, you're not going to do well, or your research proposal is weak. So for the research proposal now, I would say the main thing is, you know, you're doing something interesting, and you just have to believe in what you're doing. That's one thing I think I did, and then I reached out to people that have applied before. As I said, like I had a mentor. I checked his own research proposal, and I see the way he wrote it. So that's how I knew that wow, the way they write research proposal is actually different for Vanier. So in Vanier now, is encouraged that you put like two figures or at least one figure in your research proposal, and you have to write your research proposal in such a way that is very tight, right? You don't leave a lot of space around. You want them to see that what you're doing is important. Also, you need to write about where you're going to do the research, your lab, your school, what makes your lab, conducive for that kind of research. And then you have to also sell yourself. You have to sell your advisor. So it's not about selling yourself alone. You have to talk about who your PI is. Oh, my advisor has published over 50 papers. He has published in Science, published in Nature. So I believe that he's ready to mentor me to be able to do well in this research. And then you also have to look for ways to connect your research to Canada. So, for instance, my research now, I studied genetic disease. I know how alternative splicing, which is a process that goes on in our body to process our genes to make proteins, how it causes genetic disease. And currently in Canada, we have rare genetic disorders, and millions of people are affected by this. So I believe that from my research, I'll be able to get some insight that can help in developing drugs, developing solutions to some of these diseases. So I bring it home, right? So you have to show how this research will benefit Canada. You have to sell yourself well. You have to write in plain English. Don't write because you don't know who is reviewing your application. So anytime you're writing, have in mind the person that is reading. Don't write for yourself. You can be writing a lot of jargons and nobody knows. So you have to think, what if the person reading my research proposal is an engineer? Because you don't know who's going to review it. It's a committee, and anybody can pick up your application to review. Most times it's not the person that is in your field, so you have to write it plainly in a way that is explanatory, right? So that or the research area that involves writing about like how your research connect to sex and gender. So you also need to like think. So for me now, it was quite tricky for me to write that one, but then I just had to like think. Okay, male and female, we have different chromosomes. So we have chromosome XY in male, XS in female, and there are some genes that are X linked, more like linked to the X chromosome, and those genes are not expressed in a male that has X and Y. And then I look at my research, and interestingly, there was actually some genes that are mainly connected to the X chromosome that I'm studying. So I just have to write a story around that. So you just have to look at your research and think, how does this research affect sex and gender, and how can I sell this to the committee in a way that they will believe that this is something that is worth doing. And many times we're already doing all these things, but we don't sit down to reflect enough to be able to bring out, what we are doing and sell them to people. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Um,
You're welcome.
so the next question is about your personal statement. So writing a compelling personal statement is often one of the most challenging parts. How did you
Hmm.
approach writing yours, and any tips for future applicants?
Okay, so personal statements. If it's for Vanier scholarship, you're going to write a leadership essay. So that's personal statement now, more like talks about from my experience writing scholarship essays. So that kind of talk about who you are. That's why it's called personal statements. Write about yourself. So in Varney, it's called leadership statements. Talk about your leadership. So and again, I reflect back to when I was very young. Okay, what were the things that inspired me to become who I am today? Nobody came out of anywhere. You can't just say you land on heart at the age of 20 and then you're doing a PhD. You started your journey from somewhere when you were young, and there are many challenges that you go through. People that are reading your essay, they don't want to just see that you are the king all through. They want to see your pains. They want to see how you're able to show resilience, how you're able to show consistency. What were the challenges you had when you were young? So for me, in my essay, for instance, I have some personal and family challenges that inspired me to do what I'm doing today. I shared it in the essay. That was even the opening statement. That okay, what made me to decide to go into this field was because of this and these things. And then after that, I look at okay, that was when I was young. After that, when I was in my undergraduate program in Nigeria, what were the challenges I had? What were the things that helped me to graduate to the grade I graduated with? What were some of the things I did outside of school? Okay, while I was in Futa, I did my undergrad at Federal University of Technology at Kure. Okay, while I was in school, I did a program for young students like me that are an entrepreneur. They want to become like entrepreneurs. I did a program for them to be able to learn more about the business world, and through that program, I impacted like 1,000 students. And again, when writing your essay, there's a technique we use, and that technique is called the STAR approach. So the STAR stands for situation. So what's the problem? What's the challenge? The T stands for the task. What were the tasks you had to take? So just like for instance, I said there are many of my friends that have challenges with business, starting their business, going into entrepreneurship. That's the problem. So the task now is for me to like maybe organize a program, do something to help them solve that problem. Then the action I took, oh, I had to invite speakers, I had to get the hall, and what was the result? I impacted over 1,000 students, and many of those students were able to start their business. That's the STAR approach. Another thing is each paragraph of your essay, you want to tell a story, a different story, and that's why I said earlier that you cannot just wake up tomorrow and say you want to apply for big scholarships without doing something, because you need things to write down. And that's why it's good that when you're in school, try to volunteer, try to be involved in leadership, try to do things. And it might not even be like outside school, it might be in your lab. As a student, you can mentor other students. You can take up maybe departmental rep positions. You can take student representative positions. The goal of this is to have things to put in your essays to write. So all those stories, I just have to list them out and then I write them out. And then I wrote them in such a way that, I've met a lot of people, they say when they are writing, they don't want to boast. There is no way to win scholarship without selling yourself. It's not boasting, it's you. You did all these things. So why can't you share about what you did? So you have to first have that confidence in you that this is me. I paid the price to do all these things. You could have some of us have paid the price of time, our money to volunteer. So we deserve it to sell ourselves. So you just have to have that confidence in you that I can talk about myself in a way that someone else will see me and be inspired. Because the people that are reviewing your essays are not with you. They don't even know you. They don't know what you are going through. They only see what you write down. So why not write it well? Why not boast about yourself? So you have to, but for you to be able to boast about yourself, you have to be doing something, and you don't want to lie, right? Because lying is not good. You don't want to do that. So you want to do right what you're really doing. And you can only do that by reflecting, by using approaches like the STAR approach, breaking your stories into paragraphs, and then bringing everything. And you can also write in such a way that, I write, um, for instance, I started my story from when I was young, and from there I progressed to when I gained admission. From there I progressed when I came to Canada, the challenges I'm going through. So by the time I finish the whole thing, it comes up to one, and that's me, and that's what we call a personal statement. So personal statement is not something you just model together. You want it to be a story that really sells who you are. And just to add, for different scholarships, there are different ways of writing personal statements. There are some scholarships that when you're writing the personal statement, you have to be more academic, right? Oh, I've published this number of papers, I've done this and that. There are some that you have to be more leadership focused, like Shivnin in UK is more leadership focused. Commonwealth Shared in UK is more academic focused. So different scholarship have different things. For Vanier, the leadership statement is more about your leadership, personal leadership, community leadership, and other things you're doing. Because you still have a place to write about proposal, you have a place to write, talk about many other things you want to talk about. So you have to understand what the scholarship wants, and then you go the extra mile to give them the best. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Before I go further, I want to make sure everybody that's online can hear us. If you can hear us, can you post on the comments? I think I'll be able to see comments. If you can just hear, just post on the comments because I'm not sure if I'm having network issues. Some parts of it are just cutting out, so I don't know if it's happening for just me or every other person. But if you can hear, yes, awesome. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Bloby. We can hear you. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Humphrey. Makila, thank you. All right, so I'll just go ahead to the next question. So also before I go ahead, are we together? Are we understanding what someone is saying? Does it like because I'm getting a lot of things already. I'm like in my head, I'm already like, okay. I hope every other person can also get something as well. All right, so I think you kind of touched on this, Samuel. You talked about referees, right? You said that that was something that is necessary, which is for most scholarships. So, how did you choose your referees for the Vanier scholarship? Because it's very important. The referees, you can't just choose randomly. And that's a mistake that people do. They just say, they can tell their graduate student, their friend, can you be my referee? And it's just like, how? So how did you choose your referee for Vanier application? What advice would you give to applicants when selecting who writes their letter of recommendation? You're on mute, Samuel.
Sorry, that's a very, very good question. Yeah. So, when I was applying, when I was planning to apply, many thoughts came to my mind. Because I was thinking, oh, now I've been in Canada for like 2 years plus. I've volunteered with some organizations, and some of these guys they know me. And also some of them have names, right? Or maybe director of one program and all these things. So maybe I should use them. So that thought came, but then I just wanted to be real with this application. I just want to be myself and put out the best of myself. So what I did was to reach out to people in Nigeria that I've worked with for over probably 6, 7 years, that they really know me. So my two leaders, because you need four reference for Vanier, two leadership and two academics. So my two leadership essays, none of them were from Canada. The two of them were from Nigeria. And these are people that their organizations are probably, they are big organizations back then in Nigeria, but nobody knows them in Canada like some of those organizations. But these guys have worked with me for years and they know me better. So they were able to write more about me and the impact, because most of the impact I put also in the Vanier scholarships are from Nigeria. So they were able to sell, like talk about me in that way. So if you're applying for the scholarship, don't look for names and don't just look for people randomly. It might even be someone as simple as your school teacher that knows things that you do, like when you were young, and someone like that can be the one to like sell you better. So you don't have to look for names or have to look for a director, a president somewhere. That doesn't count when it comes to scholarships like this, because they are going to read the essay and they will know whether the person really knows you or not from what they write. Another one is for the academic, your advisor is number one. You can't joke about that. The rank advisors recommendation letter high here. Why? Because that's the person that bring you here. They know you more. You work with them every day. My own advisor now, I work with him every day, so he knows me, he knows my attitude, he knows everything. So it's very important. And then the other reference can be your committee member. So academic references is better. I use your committee members as a PhD student and your advisor. But for students, because schools have different rules and departments have different rules, some people don't even have academic advisors yet. So if that is happening, you can also use your, you know, academic supervisor back in Nigeria, the person that supervises your undergraduate dissertation. So someone like that can also write for you. So the goal is they just want to know that you are academically smart and everything you're putting down in your essay are actually true, not like you're trying to lie. So it's not about names or title. They just want to know more about you and just be real about it. Don't call your friends and cook up something because at times scholarship is beyond what you submit. Also, if you're being truthful or not can reflect, and you don't want to do something that will backfire later on in the future. So you want to ensure that everything you're putting out is truth and is correct, because academia is very strict with plagiarism, with lies, things like that are not even allowed. So I would say that's very important. So look for reference that know you, right? People that, and one thing that can also help you is when you're telling them to write reference for you, send your CV to them. So people just reach out, hello, write reference letter for me. I don't know you. I might know you, but I don't know what you're currently doing. So send your CV, then I can use that to help you to write it. So those are the things I did. So all my academic references, two were from Nigeria and two were from here. And those two were my advisors and my committee members. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you.
Or
So now we're getting to the part that is a bit not shaky. Okay, so overcoming challenges. Now, was there a
hmm.
part of the Vanier application process that you found particularly difficult? And how did you manage that hurdle?
There are a lot of part. I would say every part of the scholarship is difficult. Um, though some were easier, but many of the process were difficult because it's a lot. I would say, as I said, at first I had like brain block for almost a month. I couldn't write a single thing because the essays were too much. 2 pages of leadership essays, 2 pages of proposal. You have to write your proposal reference. You have to write field CCV of almost 14 pages. It was a lot of work. So I don't even know where to start. So one thing I think I did then was to just every day, even if I don't want to write anything in terms of essay, I try to fill my CCV because that CCV is really hard to fill. It's a lot of work. You have to write everything about yourself, and at times you don't just know what else to write. So maybe at times I'm just in the lab doing analysis. I'll just remember, oh, I did this thing when I was 5 years ago. I'll go and put it in the CCV until I finish that part. So that's very important. Another one that is very hard to write is a leadership essay, because the leadership essay, you want it to be a story, you want it to flow, you want the person reading it to connect. So that was not easy to write. The academic proposal too took time because the proposal, as I said, many of the proposals I've written in the past, they were there were a lot of jargons there, right? Trying to put in the terms because many of them were reviewed by people in my field. But now I don't know who's going to review this one, so I had to also, write it well in a very clear way. So, um, I would say those were the challenges I had, and the best way to solve these challenges is actually to start as early as possible, because you might have a week where you couldn't write anything. You might need to do a committee meeting where you were very busy. But if you already start, like working on it, then you won't be able to have any challenge with that. And if you know you're planning to apply for a scholarship next year, maybe you're currently in your final year in undergrad, you're looking at applying for Vanier next year or applying for Shivni next year, write your essays now. Start writing them now. Look for people to help them review them for you now. Because the more you do that, that will help you, by the time the scholarship is getting closer, you won't feel too much pressure. And by the time those pressure come in, you won't get time to reflect and put in things that are right. So you just model things together. And that's why it's painful that many people I've met today that are Vanier scholarship worthy, they did not win it. Not because they don't have what it takes, but they just couldn't put together the right things. So it's more like packaging the thing right, and then it's way beyond just applying. I've had people that win this scholarship that don't try to even do many leadership stuffs, but they just know how to sell themselves. It's just maybe two or three things they are doing, but they so those three things they were able to package it well. So it's all about packaging too, because in the end, they are not seeing you face to face. You are not there to defend yourself. The only thing that is defending you is what you write down. So that's where it is. Yeah.
Awesome. So now let me see if I can just skip through some questions I have here. Okay. So I think you already mentioned about the leadership, how you demonstrated the leadership in your application. So I'll just keep that. Now, I think you said also that you seek if you already you seek feedback in your application before submitting it, right? So
Yeah.
that's something that is very important as well. And now, competing for a national scholarship. Now, knowing how competitive the Vanier is, what did you do to stand out from the top tier candidates across Canada?
Wow. Good, excellent question. So the I did was to um number one, know that I had to first accept that I'm competing with other students. Um you have to first accept that this is a competition. It's not sure there's favor of God, but you know that you are competing and you want to bring out the best. So I first accepted, and then the next thing I did was to look at my strength and my weakness. I knew when I looked at the criteria, because you have to go on the website to study the criteria. Every scholarship has criteria. So I went there and looked at it so that when it comes to leadership, by the grace of God, with my age, because they also use your age to judge. A boy that is 24 years old, you can't compare with someone that is 30. They believe that the longer you spend on that art, the more experience you have. So I look at my age relative to what other people that have won the scholarship, what they have. Okay, I think on leadership I can compete well. Academia, they want to see that you have a lot of A's. So I look at my transcript from my undergraduate program, and then I look at my transcript now in my graduate program. I see that okay, I might not be able to compete at the highest level on that, but at least combining my conferences, my publications, everything together, I should be able to put something forward on that edge. But when it comes to research, I was already like maybe a little bit discouraged because research is relative. You can meet someone that is planning to maybe design a whole bridge compared to someone that is just trying to build a small step. But one thing that makes it important is the value you put to what you're doing. So I saw that okay, for my research, the main goal is to sell myself well. So I would say what I did was to rank all these three things: leadership, academic, research. And then I put in a lot of effort into my leadership because that's my strength. For my academic, I know that that's more like it depends on the person reviewing. The person reviewing might look at me and say, "Oh, this guy's from Nigeria. He has had all this challenge," and that's why everything connects to. In my leadership essay, for instance, when I started my program here, I had to write a leadership essay. And during that time was COVID. I just came from Nigeria. I couldn't settle down well. Besides that, I had a fire accident actually in our house then. So it was really challenging taking that course. So that's why I had B plus that course. I put it in the essay. So when the person reading the essay looks at my transcript and see B plus, oh, this is the time when he had fire accident. So that's why, if not, he should have had A plus. So you also need to look at some of your weakness and go and write them in your leadership essay. I felt so. Is relevant, right? That's why the leadership essay is that they want to see you talk about your challenges, your weaknesses, things that made you not to be able to get what you want. So that's so I would say for I just had to look at my strength, put in a lot of focus on that. And for the weakness, I try to talk about them in my strength, which is the leadership essay. And then I try as much as possible to sell myself well. and having it at the back of my mind every time I'm writing the application that I'm competing. For my CCV, I put everything there, whether it's relevant or not, right? Because you don't know what makes sense to your reviewer. For I was in a discussion over the weekend, and someone mentioned something that when he applied for a fellowship, that the only thing they saw in that fellowship was the fact that or when he was applying for a job, and the only thing the reviewer saw on his CV was a fellowship he got in UK, and that's what gave him the job. The guy was like, "Wow, you did this fellowship." And to himself, he said the fellowship was never important to him. It was just a side or a side thing that he just did. But that was the most important to the reviewer. So you don't know what is going to matter in your essay. So everything you did, don't think that, oh, this one is a small thing. No. If you volunteer to pack things for people, put it in your CCV. You are the one you did it. So put everything there, and then when you submit, you don't know what matters and what will give you an edge. Maybe what they are looking for is, oh, someone that has 5 years experience, and maybe just one small thing that you did is just what will give you, make you better than the other candidate. So that's my mindset towards it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So, I need to go further. So before I go further, is this screen better? I'm not sure if this is. Do you prefer this screen the way it is now, or do you prefer the way it was before?
Yeah, I think this one is better. I like this.
This
The
is
light, the zoomed one is
better.
better.
Oh,
No,
which
the other
one?
one.
Okay, this one. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, this zoomed in one is better. Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is okay. I think I'm just trying to skip some questions that kind of overlap with the things you've already kind of answered before. So now, handling rejection fears. Now, were you worried about not
Mhm.
getting scholarship at any point? How did you deal with those thoughts while still putting your best foot forward?
Wow. If you ask that question, I won't say, I just, look back into those periods. It was not easy. The week I was about to submit my essay, I received a rejection from Research Manitoba here in Winnipeg that I was not selected for a scholarship. And my advisor, I remember, you that never get Research Manitoba, you want to go and compete for Vanier. That kind of, I was down. Like, just imagine, like, within Manitoba I couldn't win, talk less of competing globally. But then one thing I think helped me was the Research Manitoba gave me feedback when I submitted the application, that, oh, you should do this better in your proposal, you should do this. And all those feedbacks, I just applied them to the Vanier. And I would say probably some of those feedbacks helped me. Rejection is part of it. And that's why it's a competition. And we don't have to put our mind at rest. We have to still go ahead and do what we want to do, because reject you in a place does not mean they will reject you in another place. And I remember then I had the opportunity of meeting my mentor when I submitted the application, and I told him that I've been hearing some things from my friends, because I had some other friends that submitted the application, and anytime they meet me, they keep saying that, Sam, do you know that there's this other guy that also applied for Vanier? This guy has, done this, done that. I don't think we can win anything. No. So there are some people like that that will just come near you and tell you things like that, and I just feel this fear, like, if this guy is really applying, I shouldn't have even planned to apply. But interestingly, when the result came out, I'm still like shocked to today, and I know that it's all God, God's grace and favor that made it happen. My mentor told me something, the guy that mentored me, and he said, Sam, I had the same thing. But one thing I believe is the way you are feeling afraid of those other guys, and their view. So, anytime we are doing something, maybe you're applying for something, maybe you apply for a job or something, you feel like you're not enough. Whereas the other people that are also applying are also feeling that same way. Everybody feels that same way. That they are enough in an application. You always look for what you did not do well. Oh, I should have write this one better. I should have do this one better. But that's not it, because you don't even know what will make it happen to you. thing that the guy told me, I still hold on to it till today. Anything I'm applying for, I don't have any fear of what other people are doing. I do my own and I just put it there. So who knows? You don't even know what will happen or will make you get it over them, right? And everybody feels the same way towards anything we apply. Though our confidence level might be different based on what we submit, but we still have this feeling of maybe we'll not get it, right? So I had those feelings every time till, and Vanier took like 6 months with the response. So it was a long time of feeling like that. Wow, what if I don't get it? But then another thing is you don't also want to like fully depend on when you apply for scholarships, have other plans, have contingency plans. Oh, what if I don't get scholarship? What other things can I do? So you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. Do other things, and then because that's life for you, some things you apply for might not come the way we want them. So for me, I just, and then another thing I would say I do, I'm a Christian. What I did was, start praying and hoping on God because I believe it was God that inspired me to go ahead and apply for it. So the moment I pray, I just feel better about it, and then I just look, wait on God on it. So at times it takes waiting, and that waiting period is not it's not an easy period for everyone, but just have to like keep on being, being positive and just keep on being positive. Yeah.
Yes, yes, for sure. Okay, so the next question I have is, um, so how did you feel when you finally hit the submit button on your application? Like, did you feel confident, or was it
Wow.
more of a relief that the process was over?
When you ask this question, it reminds me of what happened because I actually made a mistake. So one of the things they said in the application is you have to follow all the formats. So the Microsoft Word format I used for my leadership essay was wrong. I did not know how I made my own was wider, so I could write more. So I did not know that I've changed the whole setting when I was writing, and I already submitted the application. So you have to submit to the school first. So the school will review, and then the school will let you pass the school stage, and then the school will now tell you to go ahead and submit to Vanier. So when I submitted to the school that day, it was after like maybe 2 or 3 days. I just remember, did you even check the formatting? So I just went to go and check, and I saw that it was wrong. So the feeling was really, was something else. I had to mail the school, and then the school said that if I passed through the school stage, I would get it. So the day I submitted, I felt a lot of burden lifted. Number one, I felt very happy because is something like that is not even about winning the scholarship. Is I applied, and that's why in life, it's a big thing for you to apply for something. It's not until you win it. You saw a job opportunity, you applied for it. It's already a big thing because not everyone has the courage, right? Some people are afraid. I met a lot of people that fam, I did not apply for Vanier. Why? Not that they are not smart, but I don't just have the courage. I don't just believe I can win it. So for me, even believing I can win it and I submit the application, it was a big win for me. I think that day maybe I went out and enjoyed myself because it was a lot. 4 reference letters, calling referees here and there, sending emails, writing CCV, writing all the essays, and then pulling it together, reaching out to a lot of mentors to edit them, and then I was able to submit the application. I was proud of myself. So I think it's something that you being able to apply for something is worth it, and it increases your confidence whether you win it or not. At least you competed, unlike someone that did not even take a step. Yeah.
Yes, 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 that's
Mhm.
true. That's true. All right, so what is your lesson? So, what's the biggest lesson you learned during the Vanier application process? And how has that helped you as a researcher or a scholar since?
Oh wow, yeah, I would say the biggest lesson was number one. I already shared one just now. Overcome your fears. I would say the other lesson I learned was or the other thing I've seen from this is that you know sell yourself well is a big thing. Like until today, when I look at the way I was writing essays before, apply for my Vanier. And the way I write thesis now, it's like that Vanier was a training period. I learned a lot about writing. If if I show you my proposal that I submitted for that research Manitoba, even you yourself, you won't give me the scholarship. Because then I don't know how to write proposals. I just write something down. But Divani took me to another length of learning how to write all these things. And today now, if I'm applying for other awards, I know how to package myself better. So I would say it's, it helped me to also develop myself, right? Because it's a big push. And at times, if we don't push ourselves out of our comfort zone, we won't be able to learn new things. We just want to stay there. Okay, any opportunity that is within what I can do. And the fact is, you can't grow if you're only doing things you know how to do. You can only grow when you pull yourself out of those regions. So Vani pulled me out of that. And today I always want to like look for bigger things that will also push me to a new level. So I would say that is another lesson I got. And then I also looked at the impact this will have on my career and this will have on my future. And that's why, anytime we're applying for things, don't just look at the money. Don't look at, the money alone. Look at what other things this is get, the other doors this thing is going to open. Doors of relationship, doors of platforms, doors of bigger opportunities. So those are the things, that I also got from this. So I look beyond what I'm applying for. Don't just look at the job or the scholarship you want to apply for. Look into other things this can add to you, and that's what will inspire you to want to put yourself into it. So those, I would say, those are some of the lessons I got. And then I would say the last lesson I got is also trusting on God. um I All my job Valley journey was on God. I'm grateful to God for that opportunity, for him to be able to like inspire me to be able to write those essays. Because at times when I look at what I wrote, I couldn't believe I was the one that write them. So this must be, an inspiration from the Spirit of God. So which I deeply appreciate. So trusting on God is part of it. I can't lie to anyone. I prayed a lot for this scholarship in terms of favor from God. So if you're putting in your best, in terms of working hard, being diligent, you also have to put a lot of work into praying, into doing things spiritually, because it's competition. And the painful thing we don't, many people don't know is that everybody have what they believe in. And the moment you see people submit for something, don't think that they're just submitting physically. People too are also consulting some things to be able to get what you want. So it's what you know and what you have that you hold on to. And me, I held on to Christ, and I think that's one of the main things that helped me. So that's one thing. Those are some of the lessons I get from this. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for
Mhm.
that. All right. So we have just, well, we can just skip maybe, we'll be able to go past the maybe like 4 p.m. a bit. So,
Okay.
um, just to talk to the people on live, if you can just put in the chat as well, if you're following, a thumbs up or something, that would be great. Okay. So as we're waiting for them to to chat, let me go to the next question. So the next question is, so I think maybe you've kind of touched on this, but let me see if you can add something to it. So, your personal growth so far. So, do you feel like this experience has changed you at all beyond just the academic side of things?
Oh yeah, it's as I mentioned earlier, it changed me a lot. Beyond academia, I would say you know many of the things I've done in the past in terms of volunteering, giving back to community. I I knew now that it matters. Right, when I was doing them then, I feel like people are using me. There was a time I was in Nigeria that I volunteer for people, they won't pay me, they won't give me anything. Right? We carry things for people, do a lot of work. But when I look at the reward I got from that, so I feel happy about it, that wow, what I did actually matters, or what I'm doing, they matter. So I think that validation is very important, and it also validates the fact that there's nothing I apply for I cannot get. Right? That's my belief. Even though they don't come, maybe I used to like tell my friends this, that if I apply for something, there are only three things that could happen. Number one, that means only three things I don't get them. Number one, they are not meant for me. Number two, that thing is below me. Like There are many opportunities I've applied for that did not pick me. And when I look at why they did not pick me, is because I'm above that opportunity, right? And then number three is it's not yet time to get them. There are some things that are not yet time to get them. If I apply for Vanier when I first started my PhD, I won't get it because there are some experience I did not have. You get, so when you're applying for something, if you don't get it, don't take rejection to your heart. There are three things you should look out for. This thing is not for me, is below me, or is already above me, or maybe just once I know that I'm at peace to apply again. So the Vani also validated that for me to win the Vani, that means it's meant for me, and I have what it takes to win it, right? So those are the kind of beliefs. So if you're applying for any job, anything, it might be beyond you, but still go ahead and go for it, like and do it because it push you to a new level, and you might get there and that thing is actually meant for you, but you just feel like, oh, I'm not enough, right? So that's one thing that I learned. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for telling us that. All right, so I'll ask just the last few questions, very quickly. So networking. Have you met other
Yeah.
Vanier scholars? Like, what's that community like? How are you guys relating?
Yeah. So after I got Vanier, I went for like a 1 week vacation in Toronto. That was
Oh,
last year, towards the end of last year. Because I also believe a lot in exposure. Even though I'm schooling in Winnipeg, I believe I've visited Vancouver, I've visited Toronto, I've visited Calgary. So just visit all these provinces and see what is happening there. So I met another Vanier scholar, Otuto. So Otuto is he's currently doing his PhD in Toronto. He's a big guy in Nigeria doing a lot of works on public health, has a lot of publications, he's a big researcher. So I had some time with him. I learned, and I'm still learning from him. He's more like, he's a boss in the research area. He published, like, go travel around the world for conferences. So I think the community is big. I also met Abishola. She's currently a PhD student too at UBC. She came to Winnipeg for a conference. We get to meet and talk. I learned a lot about the amazing things she's doing. And I've also, like, I've met Vani scholars that, people that won Vani before me. So I think the community is huge, and it's also amazing to see that a lot of Nigerians get the scholarship. So one thing I want us to know is, um, you might be going through some hardship now, but it's your story, where you come out from, where God placed you from. That is something that, we open might open door for you in the future, right? For you to be able to arrive out, okay, from all the challenges happening in the country now, and still able to make impact, or anywhere you are in the world, all the challenges, and you still be able to, like, graduate well, be doing a PhD program. So all those stories were things we put together to get the scholarship. So I've met a lot of them, and they're amazing guys. They've helped me, and we're all, like, interacting and helping each other. So, and it's beyond Vanier too, right? Networking is very important for anything we want to do in life, right? Reach out to people, connect with people, because the opportunity you are looking for is in the hand of another person. Yeah.
yes, 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 that's true. So okay, so what is the looking ahead? What's your now that you have this major achievement under your belt? What's next? Any big plans for the next few years? Or
I'll say, I number one, I'm following the plan of God. I know God has a plan for me and a purpose, so I believe in that. And then I'll say the major plan for me now is to finish my PhD program as soon as possible. I have interest in industry or consulting. I have a lot of, as much as I love science, I also love business and I love leadership. So I'm kind of in between the three. And but I believe the three is intertwined. So because I can apply my scientific knowledge in the business world as a leader. So that's what I see myself as. And besides that too, also I have some organizations I run. So I run Shaping African Women in STEM, and we're doing a lot of amazing stuff. We recently got that award from New England Biolabs for the passion in science, and that's really amazing. I have Impact Leaders Connect, where we build young leaders, and then Food and Jeans Initiative. We have a major project coming up next year. So uh, I still want to be running all these things. I love them. There are things that, there are ways for me to give back to the society. So I think the next big thing for me is to finish my PhD, and hopefully, get a job in the industry, or maybe as a consultant. So, but only God knows. I might graduate and still have maybe have interest in academia. academia. I'm open. I don't believe in long term plans. So I know some people do have 50-year plan. No, no, no. I don't believe in that because it's good. What I believe in is every day live purposefully. um just have a purpose, have a clear direction, and your purpose should not be tied to a job, should not be tied to a career plan. It should be tied to God's word, because the word of God cannot change. So I tie my life to the word of God, and I believe that God has a big plans for me, right? Tomorrow might come, a bigger opportunity might open up, so I don't want to put myself in a box. Oh, I have to work in academia, I have to know. I'm open-minded. I keep on developing myself, becoming better, reading books, listening to seminars, um, doing research. So when we are doing, the more I do that, I'm building myself to become someone that anywhere I get to in life, I can function. I function as a God's ambassador, and let the name of Jesus be glorified. So that's my own mindset. So I keep on building myself, and I don't put myself in a box. I have to be here in 10 years, because in 2 years' time I don't know where I might be. Right? The plans of God are amazing. Joseph was in the prison today. The next day was a prime minister. So you don't know where God is taking you to. So just be open minded, be positive, and keep on pushing, keep on growing every day, no matter where you are. Just know that you can't plateau. Whether you get into a job, keep on looking for opportunity to become better, because that's just a platform. Everywhere I get to in life is a platform. Platform to go to a higher platform, not to just get to a place and just sit down. No, there must be something better every day and every time. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And God will help you in Jesus' name.
Hey man,
Amen.
thank you very much.
So the next question I have is, I have just two more questions or three more questions, and then we'll go to the question and
Okay.
answer. I see some questions in the comments here, but we'll just address them. And
Okay.
so the legacy, oh sorry, the mentorship role. So now
Yeah.
that you've received the Vanier, do you find yourself in a more of a mentorship role to other students? And how do you support others on the similar path?
Yeah, like this past year, we are probably part of maybe more than 10 students that apply for Vanier. Reviewed essays, advised people, encourage, shared my story. At least a few of them I know of, maybe like five or six that was be able to help. And on LinkedIn, many people reached out, it's able to help. Just sharing my story the way I'm sharing now, and also help review their essays. So I'm still open to that. You can search for me on my LinkedIn, Samuel Ariwaju. So just search for me. You can reach out. I can create time and help you review essay and talk to you if you need any encouragement. I was helped, and I also believe that I should help other people to get it. So I do that, and I'm still ready to do more in the future. As I'm also applying for bigger things, I'm also looking for mentors. So I will receive mentorship and I also mentor other people. So yeah, I'm open to that.
Awesome, that's good. That's great. So if you can hear him, so if you are in, if you want to apply for scholarship, please reach out to Samuel on LinkedIn, and then he would help you. All right. So the next thing is, this is a very important question. Even I myself, I'm just like, I actually don't know how to answer this question, but let's see what what she would say. So the work-life balance,
Wow.
work-life balance for graduate school. So graduate school can be very all-consuming. We know that it can be very tasking.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you manage the demands of high-level research while maintaining a work-life balance?
I interestingly, I was listening to a researcher yesterday, one of the top researchers in my field, and they asked him the same question. This guy currently is on board of probably over 50 startups. He's in California, is doing amazing stuff. And they asked him the same question: how do you balance being a professor? You're on board of several organizations. He leads one of the biggest lab in RNA biology in the world. How do you do this? And he mentioned something that he doesn't believe in work-life balance. He takes everything as life, and I think that's also a mindset I did not know until I heard yesterday. But I something I also be now that um being a researcher, being a student is life. It's my life. I don't take it as a work. The moment you take it as a work, that's why you have to like create time. Because you being at home to maybe going to play or playing football or watching movies, work. You being with your family is part of work. But the only thing that makes us to define it not as work is because it brings life. right? We believe that this thing gives us energy, makes us, better. So it's better to look for something that you do every day, a work that you do every day, and bring and make life, enter that thing, so that anytime you are there, you're also gaining life, right? That's his mindset, and I think that's something I also buy into. So as a graduate student, I'm doing my PhD. PhD is part of my life, so it's not something I'm so I go every day. I go to the life every day, to the lab every day now, believing that I'm going there to live my life. Right? I come home, I rest, I can play game, I can do anything I want to do. It's also work, but that work too brings me life. But then there are different parts of life, and there are different things they give to us. You doing a PhD now is to give you a better life in the future. Why you are earning a master's student, doing a master's, is because you want a better life for yourself. That's the reason, and you need it. You can't say that, oh, I want to have more life, I'm not going to do all these things. No, you need them to have a better life, and there are some price you need to pay now to have a better life in the future. And what does a better life means? A life where you have peace, a life where you are not owing money, you don't have debt, a life where you are more fulfilled, you're happy. And for some of us, if you notice in life, for you to be able to do something that makes you happy, you need to pay the price. The price could be a PhD, the price could be a master's, the price could be, you not sleeping for now. So that when the time comes, you will not be working. We have many people today that when they should be working, they did not work. Now they are working. So work-life balance is not even in their equation again. Because there was a time that they should work more. But they believe that, oh, I want to work more, right? So there's a time, and even the Bible says this, right? When you are young, you have the strength to work. So for me, I would say to students, work-life balance is good. You can, do exercise, go out. I do the same thing, but I take everything I do, I try to define it as life, and I try to find meaning to everything. Just find meaning to it, and all of us are different. Some people find fulfillment being in the lab, so we shouldn't fight it. Oh, because I stay 12 hours in lab, I'm actually not living life. No, if that's where your life is for now, enjoy it. It's a moment. It won't be long, right? Some of us within 2 3 years you're out of that lab. Now you have moved on, and when you now move out, you now be missing it. Oh, I love when I was in the lab, because it's life for you for now. So when the time comes, right, to change, to you move on to another place where you also get life again. So family is life, your career is life, is your life, right? It's what you spend your time on, and you should enjoy it. So that was what I learned yesterday, and this is a different mentality entirely to what we hear today, right? So you don't have to compartmentalize everything and be trying to like balance it. There's nothing like, you can't balance. It's not easy to balance. Just believe that you're living your life. Yeah.
That's a very awesome theory. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right. So the last question I have for you is, what is your advice for future applicants? So what advice would you give to someone that is considering applying for the Vanier? Is there something that you wish you had known before applying?
Yeah, I would say the best advice I would give to someone applying for Vanier, number one, start applying now. Start preparing for the information for the application. Um, you can start anytime. If you are trying to apply next year, start preparing now. The earlier you start, the better, because you get to learn many things, and that can help you. You can also see some gaps you need to fill that can make your application stronger. Number two is overcome your fears. Overcome any form of fear that is facing. Just don't put your mind on you not getting it. Put your mind on growing. Put your mind on learning. Put your mind on, oh, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And put your mind on, the goal is I want to submit. My own belief when I wanted to apply for it, God sees my heart, was I just want to submit, not even to win. I want to submit the best application I believe I can submit. That was my mindset. Whether I win or not, that's on God and the reviewer. That's the, because that's not in your hand. You can't decide that. You might submit an application and you don't know who else is applying with you. That's not your own concern. Your own concern is, I want to submit my application and I want to submit the best. So that was my goal. So I think in life we think ahead of the submission. Oh, what if I fail? At least submit first. And whether you fail or not, you will know. And you might not fail. So I would say we should overcome our fears and think of this as an opportunity to grow, to become better, to learn something new, and anything we're applying for in life. Let's have this mindset. Uh, it's amazing to see that people that win many of these scholarships, they don't even have half of what we have, but it's just because we don't believe in ourselves, right? So when you reach out to people and see what they submit, say, wow, you use this to win this application? Yes. Why? Because I submit. But you, I, I don't think I deserve it, and that's what we see with jobs. I was privileged to be in an interview also over the weekend, like a lunch with some people from like pharmaceutical companies, and when these guys were sharing their stories of how they got into the company, I was amazed. They did not even believe they deserved it too. They just applied and they got in. So that's how life is. At times we just receive favor and then you get what you want. So yeah, go ahead and apply and don't be afraid. You have all it takes. You have all it takes. It's your story and sell it well. Yeah.
Yes, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Samuel. I really appreciate you coming on here to tell us all of this. I've really learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone has learned a lot as well. And so now this is the time for question and answer. So very quickly before we go, I'll just briefly highlight some questions that some people have had asked. So the first question here is talking about it's from Ebenezer Adedotun. It's talking about, so please, can international students studying for a diploma program in Canada get graduate assistantship or teaching assistantship, or is it reserved for master's program only?
Um. Yeah, like international students study for. Yeah, you can come and study for a diploma program. But again, it depends on what you want to use it for. I know many people come here for diploma program because they want to relocate, which is not bad. But however, I think there are a lot of immigration changes now to coming for these programs. And when you come here, I don't really have a lot of idea about that, but I don't think there's something like graduate assistant with the diploma program. So graduate assistantship and teaching assistantship most times they come with maybe research focused programs like a master's or a PhD. So, and it also depends on your department. My own department, for instance, there's nothing like graduate assistant or teaching assistant. We don't have undergraduate program in my own department. So we are all graduate students. So some departments allow that, but not every department. But if your goal is to come for a scholarship or to get funding, I would encourage you, look for an advisor, send emails, package your CV. And again, it still comes down to you trying, right? Just give a try. Reach out to them and submit. And if you've been doing that, don't give up. I used to tell people, I probably have sent over maybe 200 emails before I got one. And then by the grace of God, I was the best student in my class in Nigeria. I had all the CV, everything, but only one reply. So don't give up. I've had friends that submitted over 500 emails, did not just give up. Every night they kept on sending. Yeah, one of my friend did in US, like he's kept on doing it until he got. And by the time he got response, I think over like four schools gave him admission. We're now deciding on which one to go to. Why? He did not just care. When someone says no to you, I already told you there are three things: it's either it's not for you, it's below you, or it's above you. And if a professor says no, don't think that is a rejection to you. At times God is also blocking some doors, because if a wrong professor pick you, it would have been better for you to be in Nigeria than to come and be under the tutelage of a wrong PI or someone that will make you go through hell. So I would say it's better to just look for a scholarship, apply, and who knows, you might be favored. Yeah.
Yes, yes, thank you.
You're
So if you
welcome.
have more questions, please let's just put them in the comment section and then we just try to get them very quickly. So the next question is from Humphrey Norman. He says, how can I reduce my proposal to 2 pages only? Because it's been a war reducing it from 9 to 3 pages it is now. Should I just use bullet point for master's research proposal, please, and its impacts, please? First of all, how did you write from
Yeah,
9 pages? Wow. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. This is a very good question, Humphrey. Thank you. I know the moment you thought, like when I saw this question, I was the reason why I laughed was because I had the same experience. So I wrote. My advisor told me to write an abstract. So I wrote 2 pages or so. So he told me to reduce it to 1 page. I was able to do that easily. He told me to reduce it to half a page. I did that easily. He told me to reduce it to 50 to 200 words. I did that. He now told me to reduce it to 50 words, a whole 2 pages proposal, and I was able to. In academia, you can write a proposal of 1 page from a 9 pages proposal. You just have to ask yourself, what's the most important? What is the most necessary? Like, what's the necessary thing for this proposal? And let me just break down the research proposal to you to make it simple. The first aspect of your research proposal is your introduction. Introduction means background or literature review. What does the literature say about what you want to do? From that literature, you get to identify questions, gaps. Oh, based on this, there's something they've not yet done. And that's why I'm creating this hypothesis. So from your introduction, the background, you write your hypothesis. From your hypothesis, you have objectives or aims to answer the hypothesis. For master student, most times 2 aims are enough. For PhD, you might have 3 aims or 3 objectives. Then the next thing is, what are the techniques or methods to answer your aim? Oh, aim 1 involves collecting data. Okay, I'm going to collect data using this tool. Simple. Aim 2 involves doing bench work. Oh, I'm going to use this technique and technique. Simple. And after that, the next thing you should write is your summary or your conclusion. Oh, based on this research, I believe this, and this will happen. And then you can put your significance. I think this research, by getting this data, we're going to help improve the health of people. Simple. And then you write your references. That's the whole proposal. And this proposal I just described for you can be written in half a page, can be written in 2 pages, can be written in 30 pages, depending on details. So there are some details you can just remove. Most of them are just redundant, right? If you don't need to explain the method, you can shorten it, right? People can go online and search for the method. So you can reduce the proposal to 2 pages, and you reducing it from 9 to 3. That's already a lot of work. Then I think from 3, you can still break it down to 2, right? So that's possible. And you can also search online. And another thing is, use ChatGPT is there. Again, I'm not encouraging you to use ChatGPT to write a whole proposal, but you can just post this 3 pages proposal into ChatGPT and tell it to help you reduce it to 2. People do that, so it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, thank you. I was going to say that, yeah, you can use some software to reduce it if possible. ChatGPT is one of them, but be very careful about putting your proposal on ChatGPT, because if it's your supervisor's proposal, maybe a grant application, it's like you're putting it out there already. Even the ChatGPT is a software. Sometimes they are not really very, they are public, so anybody can have. I don't know, but I just feel like if something very personal like that, you might be careful to do that. But
Yeah.
yes, I agree with that. So try to summarize with some software if you can, and I hope that helped you, Humphrey. Um, so the same person is asking another question. He said, similarly, like the proposal, I too have a problem with bulky CV. So try to tailor it to a specific program, but it's still huge, minimum 3 pages. What can I do, please?
I will say again, it's all about you asking yourself, Humphrey, ask yourself the right question. What I don't You don't have to put everything on your CV. There are some things you just have to sacrifice. You just have to take them out, right? So I'll say that. And again, ChatGPT can help. And as Patience mentioned, you don't want to put things that are important to you out there, so you have to be careful with that. But I think it's just you asking yourself, what? Okay, for instance, what are the experience I should remove? What are the what's it called? Maybe the achievements you highlighted are too much. You can cut them down, right? So the goal is just to ensure that you meet up with the requirements for what you want to apply for. Yeah. So the same thing applies. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank you so much, Samuel. Any other questions before we go? Okay, so Humphrey says the problem with AI is that the universities have restricted the use of AI in formulating it. That's the problem. Yes. So some universities have those restrictions with AI, and they can tell if you're using AI to actually do those things. So I think you can use AI to report, like to summarize or to paraphrase. Is that not
Yeah,
allowed?
not to just
Not
write. You can use
to
AI to shorten. but not just like write the whole thing, because people can easily read. If you send me an essay on this ChatGPT written, it's easy to detect because it's just like it's the same thing, right? So if it's something that human being, right, you will always see that difference based on our knowledge of vocabulary, how we combine words. So, but if you already write something yourself, you can shorten it with ChatGPT. That's not bad because you are feeding the system with something. But if you are trying to receive from the system without feeding, you will know that it's directly from the system. So if you have an essay already written yourself, you can put it there and then you get the results. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. So thank you so much. I think that's all. So we just close this live. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you Samuel again for joining us and
You're
giving us this
welcome. You're
insightful
welcome.
section. People are saying thank you as well in the comment section. This was very insightful, and thank you for being my first guest. I'm hoping to do this more often and invite more people as well. And yes,
Uh,
so somebody say something in the comment section. Sorry, before you go. So folktale by Love Nation. Do you have a question? Okay, she says give me 2 minutes. All right, I guess she's typing her question. So just let's just maybe give her 1 minute or so before we go. So she says, I'm currently a master's. I guess she's a master's student. Yes, yes. Take your time and type it. We're waiting for you. And also, as you were waiting, if you have not liked this video, please like this video right now. Leave, share it as much as possible. So this video is going to be on YouTube, so you can always go back and watch it again. If something Sammy has said that you probably remember and you want to go back and watch it, you can also go back and watch it as well. Like it, share, of course, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments as well. And again, just to remind us, Samuel is has a couple of organization, so something that we can also check out as well. Samuel, do you want to talk about that before you go? Like, I think you have some class, what's it called, talks and stuff like that, right?
okay, yeah, I can. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, I run not two non-profits, two registered in Nigeria, and the other one is an initiative I run here in Canada. So the first one is called Food and Genes Initiative. So if you're into health related field, maybe if you're interested in things like substance abuse advocacy, non-communicable disease, malnutrition, so that's what we do. So we're mainly an organization aimed at improving the well-being and lifestyle of Africans. So we've been doing project now for the past 6 years. So we've done a lot of campaign, and we have a major campaign coming up next year called the 365 days. So it's a drug abuse campaign for a whole year. So every day we're going to be posting. We're going to be having a lot of events coming up around. So there's an event we're going to be partnering with National Institute on Drug Abuse US. So it's going to be like a visit to several schools in Nigeria to talk about drug abuse. So our goal is to prevent. Um, Also, I have a company in Nigeria that works on rehabilitation. So what we do for that is to help people set up rehabilitation centers to help take care of people. But the non-profit is majorly aimed at prevention. The other one is shaping African women in STEM. And what we do is we use storytelling to mentor young women to get into STEM fields. So we interview people. We've done a lot of interviews. We've done a lot of what's it called? I think we've also invited patients as one of our speakers. So
Oh yes, yeah.
yeah, so we do. So that's what we do, and we also plan a lot of physical events from next year because we've gotten some grant and opportunities which we want to leverage on next year. And then the third one is Impact Leaders Connect, and what we do there is we organize events for young leaders. This year we organized a physical event here at University of Manitoba called the Eco Empower in partnership with Sustainability for Me, and we do a lot of online events. So our major event is called the Impact Leaders Connect. So this past in August we did the event, and it was amazing. We had CEOs, top speakers globally come around and share about their leadership journey. So that's what I do. And besides those three, I also have like several interests in other organizations, and the goal is just to keep on giving back and keep on learning, pushing ourselves, and making the world a better place. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's really inspiring. That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing.
No,
So I think Folktale by Love Nation I'm not sure. Is this a question or I'm not sure. Okay. You said I'm currently running MED in measurement and evaluation in at Unilag. My intention is to further my PhD at either UBC, PhD in measurement, evaluation, and research methods, or the University of Alberta, focusing on measurement, evaluation, and data science. Now, what can I do exceptionally well to win the Foundation to fund my program because the University of Alberta specifically wants me to get external funding? So she's basically asking how what she can do to win the Mastercard Foundation.
the Mastercard Foundation scholarship, or maybe what I would say is if she can reach out to me, or if he can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I have some friends that have won the scholarship I can connect her with. Because most times I've not applied for Mastercard before, so I can't really say about how the application looks. Many of the things I've shared there, many of them are general tips, but at times there are some specific tips you need to put. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Samuel Lariwaju, just search for me, and I can connect you with people that can help you, like in a better way, rather than give you information that might not help. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. So, yes, folks still by Love Nation, please reach out to Samuel. He's going to help you. Thank you for that, and also thank you for joining us again. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining this live
All right.
session. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.
Sure. Bye.